Happy New Year and good evening to you, listeners of America's Hometown Horror Podcast. My name is Mike. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of our show. And hey, what? It's a new year and a whole bunch of new things to talk about in the show. We have a lot to talk about, so why don't I jump right in and get some housekeeping stuff out of the way. You know what it is. Social media first and foremost. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and you will find us. You can also email us at hometownhorrorpodcast@gmail.com. And last but certainly not, our website, which is apod.com, which you can find out anything about the show that you'd like to know. To a certain degree, at least I should say. And I have to mention our two partners, first of which is Horror Facts Magazine. Great resource if you're a fan of horror and you're looking to educate yourself a little bit more on horror in the new year and find news, reviews, a bunch of different think pieces, and other horror podcasts, in addition to America's Hometown Horror. Last but certainly not least, we are partnering exclusively with the first name in fright since 1979, Fangoria, to provide an exclusive 20% discount to all of our listeners. Just head on over to their shop, which is shop.fangoria.com/hometownhorrorpod, or you can use the code hometownhorrorpod at checkout, again, for that exclusive 20% discount. Head on over and buy yourself some fresh new threads from Fangoria to start off the new year and treat yourself. Anyway, enough of that. We're back again for the first time in 2023, and I am joined by my fellow co-hosts, Andrew, Matt, and Kat. Lady, gentlemen, how's everything going?
We're doing. How are you?
Good.
Enjoying the new year so far?
Yes. Kat, do you want to say hi while you're joining us?
I'm gonna have to go.
Kat might not be able to join us for the entire episode, but maybe some of it.
Yeah.
I just want to say hello before
I'll
you...
be back.
Okay, you'll be back at some point. As are the, trials and tribulations of having a baby in the house. Anyway, gentlemen, lady, welcome to Janthology 2.
Who's lady? Am I the lady?
Electric Boogaloo, maybe? No, it's too cliche. Janthology 2, this time it's serious, or I don't know. We didn't think up an actual title for it, so we can tag them on you. But yeah, we're back for another year. I know this is your first year of Janthology.
Yeah,
right?
I'm excited.
If that is in fact what we decided that we're going to do for the rest of the month as well.
I mean, that's
let's do it. I mean, I love it.
Can't do one and then not do.
Yeah.
I thought this was an interesting pick to start with, so I'm glad, because it's kind of a cool, dip your toes in the anthology.
Well, nobody had really thrown a movie out yet in the group thread, so I was just like, you know what?
Yeah, I was going through it.
Here we go. Here's the one. Let's do it, because I love this movie. So we'll talk a little bit more about that coming up. But first and foremost, gentlemen, did we all have a good time on our top 10 movies of 2022 episode last week? Our end of year top 10 third birthday bash.
That was so much fun.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was a great episode. Turned out good, and it was just it was a lot of fun to talk about all the...
I love when we just... That one, it's like a whole year watching one.
Right? Condensed into a nice, brisk 2.5-hour episode, right?
It was. I had to, I listened to it, but I also, at first, I fast-forwarded it to the end. I was like, I think I was a little heavily buzzed towards the end of it. And there's, a big period of, me and you just, yelling at each other about Terrifier 2.
Oh, yeah.
That's the occupational hazard that you run, though, when you start at Red Tea Garden before you start recording a podcast. Unfortunately, in the 3 years that Andrew, Kat, and I have been doing this, we haven't really learned from that mistake. Although, at least we were able to get through this 2.5-hour episode.
It wasn't that bad, was it?
No,
it's fine.
It's just funny.
I mean, let's say on grading on a curve, if the first time we attempted to talk about It Follows was the worst, or Silent Night, Deadly Night, when I was that smashed, this was a 10 compared to those episodes.
It was.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we were buzzing, but we weren't.
No, but we were definitely
succinct. It was fired up.
We're talking. You're talking 40 opinions, basically.
Yeah. Has anybody wavered on any of said opinions? Since the last time we recorded, any movies changed for anybody? Make any rash decisions on the fly? Anything like that?
No, I need to watch them. A lot of people are telling me if I watch the menu that bumps something.
That's really the perfect. It's almost like you're a professional. But the menu right now is available to stream on HBO Max, and I actually have it ready to go. So I almost did that today, but I know Kat wants to watch it too, and it seems like a movie that she'll really dig. So I definitely with her. But yeah, that's so if you're listening to this episode as of right now, within the next couple of days, you'll be able to watch not only the menu on Max. Matt, I know you have been particularly excited about this movie, but a cult classic called Possession, available on Shudder, which stars Sam Neill.
Yeah.
And who else?
Isabel. Her last name's hard to pronounce. I might have to just double down and look it up. But I know It's in Andrzej Zulawski. Like, dude, it's a European movie.
Yeah.
So you've seen this movie as well, right?
Negative.
Oh, you haven't? Okay, so Matt, you're the only one.
I don't know how I missed out on this, Sam.
Isabelle Adjani is the last
name.
So,
all right.
And her and Sam Neill are both, like, give fucking insane performances.
So I've definitely seen, like, the notifications, like, on all the horror websites that I read that this movie is coming to Shudder and how big of it is. Like, kind of like when Alligator came to Shudder and a bunch of the other stuff. They do a great job all the time. But, so if you had to describe to, I guess, me, Kat, and Ann, how would you describe the plot of this boiling to?
It's a big-time relationship drama, but it gets way off. Like, there's some rough scenes in it that parallel Jessie Buckley issues in Men, with those flashback scenes. But so there's a lot of, like, really hard to watch scenes like that.
Okay.
But then it gets totally fucking crazy, and you really don't. This is a movie you can't watch one time and be like, I totally get it. Like, because you'll have to. It's so up for interpretation.
I feel that way about the movie I watched today.
And it's so crazy. Like, it really goes off the rails. You're gonna like it. I know you're gonna like it. I'm pointing at Mike and Andy.
Okay.
Because it has both. It's so, and the subway scene's fucking
rarely see an actor or actress really fucking let go and go fucking nuts.
I'm intrigued.
So that's an exciting part. But you'll get what you'll laugh out loud when it's all happening. You'll be like,
okay, fair enough.
Friday,
tomorrow,
Thursday. Yeah, so that'll be January.
So it's called Possession again, and then also a couple more things real quick. So this is one I'm very in seeing. It's called The Pale Blue Eye. It's going to be available on Netflix. Today we're recording. It's the 4th. It's called Friday.
Cool.
You guys heard about this? So this is the movie Christian Bale. He's not playing Edgar Allan Poe, but Edgar Allan Poe is a supporting character in this story, helping to solve a murder.
Okay, I know.
It's directed by the guy that directed Antlers. Black Mass, Scott something, I forget his name.
Derrickson?
No, Derrickson did Sinister.
Sinister, yep.
And Doctor Strange. Mike Flanagan. Anything Edgar Allan Poe related, like, I'm interested in, so I'm going to watch this anyway.
Cooper.
Scott Cooper, that's it. Yep.
Cooper.
Yep. He also did Crazy Heart with Jeff Bridges.
And Out of the Furnace with Christian Bale, which is a fucking crazy
Casey
movie.
Affleck's a really good movie. So actually, he's a really good director, and I feel like this movie is flying under the radar because, yeah, it looks pretty cool. The reviews haven't been great. And then last but certainly not least, I feel like we don't need to spend too much time on this. It's definitely a movie that's not in all three of our wheelhouses. If Kat were still here, she'd be like, oh, I can't wait to see that. And that's Megan, which is the latest
Chucky, basically.
PG-13 horror offering from Blumhouse, combined with James Wan, I believe, producing. I was disappointed to see James Wan's name attached to this, especially after seeing him be like Malignant.
Well, maybe it'll be good then.
It's a horror movie, Andrew.
Odds are it's not going to be, but we've been surprised. Surprised before.
We've been surprised, that is for sure. All right, so all of those movies you'll see within the next week, and again, just to let you know, that is the menu, which stream Possession on Shudder, The Pale Blue Eye on Netflix, and Megan, which is only in theaters, and I wouldn't recommend this.
Megan with a backwards C?
Yes, with a backwards C.
Normal 3.
Gentlemen, sorry, Andrew, go ahead. Finish your thought.
Never mind. No,
okay, all right.
Yeah, that is correct. It's a regular 3.
We haven't
looks weird.
We haven't done this in a while, and I kind of like when we do this type of stuff. We usually don't have a lot of too much a big deal news. We had a huge trailer drop today for Evil Dead Rise. What was the second one?
Mutilator 2.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
It's this is a sequel to a slasher from like 19.
Oh, really?
Wow. Yeah.
So not only
and it looks pretty fucking good.
Not only a sequel to Evil Dead, but a sequel to Mutilator. Did you guys? Andrew, you watched the Evil Dead Rise trailer. What did you think of it?
Looks pretty rad.
Yeah.
It gets me a jive.
Yeah.
It wasn't what I was assuming it would be. It looked good.
See, I think it kind of goes in line with some of the other movies that were in franchises last year that took some chances, like Prey or Halloween Ends, or those two are the specific examples that I'm thinking of. Taking chances in things,
which I like.
Like Evil Dead, but in a high-rise apartment building. That's fucking an awesome idea.
Yeah,
it's great.
Well, Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell are they're attached to this.
Yes.
So I don't think there's going to be any. Yeah.
So Bruce Campbell, I guess, they're both producers, but they're not in it, or like Bruce Campbell is in it and Sam Raimi not directing. Bruce Campbell, they're leaning heavily at the marketing, and he's the scariest Evil Dead movie yet. And I want to be like, hey, Bruce, have you seen the 2013 Fede Alvarez remake?
That was pretty hardcore.
The trailer actually kind of looks like in tone. It's
got the same vibe.
Like it's similar to that, which I was happy with personally.
This looks like it could be a direct sequel.
So I just think the funniest thing, so like, okay, if you go canon in Evil Dead, right? So it's Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, and then technically Ashford. But I don't know if they're disregarding that for this movie, or they're just like not acknowledging it.
I don't think it.
But
it just exists in that
this
universe.
movie just looks, if it's staying in the same canon as the original movies, it's taking itself like way more serious. This looks like it has like no laughs.
That's why I think that that's why I'm like, because I never really looked at the 2013 one as I looked at it as like a kind of a
it was pretty much its own
sequel.
its own thing.
And that's why I'm like, is that maybe this is like a direct. I'm like curious to see if there's going to be any sort of Easter eggy.
The girl at the beginning of the trailer looked
Extremely familiar. What was she?
I know, dude. I couldn't.
Who was that?
I meant to look it up and I got sidetracked.
Yeah, I don't know. Surprisingly, but
Yeah,
I know.
I feel like she was in some horror movie recently.
There was a couple things in that trailer that I'm glad I love that it was a Red Band trailer.
Yeah.
But there was a couple things in that I was like, ooh. Like,
Yeah,
the
there's
cheese
some-
grater, dude.
Oh,
I was like,
yeah, I was like,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I don't think that's been done before. Has anyone used a cheese grater?
Honestly,
on
well, they used it like last week, but the image of like the dog looking through pole at the mom, like that
I
thwarted
just
like
need a hug
peephole
or a
shot.
kiss.
Yeah.
And then she opens the door.
She
I'm like, what
looks
are you, insane?
super fucking creepy.
You know, open the
in
door.
that.
Oh, I
I
just
think
had a
it
kiss.
looks interesting. So I hope they do a good thing with it.
People were like talking shit about the poster. Because it's like, obviously it's like kind of like an animated image.
Dude, it looks like
And
Smile. It looks like Smile.
And people are like, this is going to be like CG. I'm like, dude, it's a fucking picture. It's a poster. Like, of course
Relax,
it's going to
everybody.
look.
Yeah, everyone's got 2 minutes.
This shit's gonna go fucking nuts.
including
I am
us, because
excited.
we're now talking about it for
And is
3
that
minutes.
still coming out, what?
Or is that
April.
April.
Yep.
So, yeah, I was excited for it because I just love Evil Dead anyway. But now that I've seen the trailer, and you guys know I'm kind of like, I tend to hesitate watching trailers, but I was like, watch this.
The second I saw that pop up,
I
was
don't
like,
go
I'm
out
like,
of
this
my
one
way.
I'll watch.
I don't go out of my way to watch trailers.
It's like, I
but-
know what's going to happen, dude. Like, there's no spoilers to be had. Like, they're all going to get fucked up.
Like, I feel like this is the type of movie that I will watch a trailer for. Like, I haven't watched a trailer for Skinamarink. I haven't watched a trailer
neither.
for The Outwaters. I haven't
comes
watched a
out
trailer
a couple weeks,
for...
Yeah.
Both of those
next
movies
week.
do. Yeah.
Oh, Waters does?
No, not Outwaters, sorry.
Oh.
Skinamarink comes out next week.
Yeah.
But it's not playing in King, unfortunately. Or as of
Well,
of
it's
yet.
going to be on Shudder.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So that's Evil Dead Rise. You can watch the Red Band trailer pretty much anywhere. Right?
When's the last time we got a
Wherever
Red
you
Band?
want. Good question.
Evil Dead 2013.
Maybe. Maybe. Gentlemen, what have we been watching over the last... I know we had some stuff that we watched, obviously, last week when we recorded the top 10, but we wanted to... it would have been a 3-hour episode if we did that.
And we
so,
still had like a half hour of like
Yeah.
prior discussion anyway.
I can go first if you want.
Sure.
I'll do some quick hittings here. So a couple movies that I watched last week, like to try and squeeze in before we did best of 2022. And neither of these movies made my list, obviously, to talk about them. I did watch Saloum.
Dude,
Matt.
I just fucking. I thought you meant like
Yeah, yeah.
Sallow 120 Days of
No.
Summer. I was like, Jesus, dude.
The that takes place in like West Africa
Yeah, the
or
movie's
East
fucking
Africa.
sick.
It was good. I understand what you were saying when the mercenary parts were better.
Yeah.
Supernatural, like the design of the supernatural element of that movie, which I won't spoil because it's honestly like you
took
also
away from,
said
like, the movie.
you can watch it in an hour and 20 minutes. It's so quick. But I didn't like the design of the supernatural stuff that was going on after. I thought it looked fake, and it wasn't the worst movie I've seen this year by far. Also, we talked about this on the show a little bit last week. It's on my list, but I know Kat talked about Rebecca Hall Resurrections. All talked about it, and it made Andrew's list, right? Matt's list.
No.
It made Kat's list.
it was-
number 5
Sorry,
on
yeah,
Cat.
eventually I would get it.
That was just under.
Yeah, it was a great performance by her. It didn't completely stick the landing for me, and it was just I thought it was I know you guys were all like the Carnage. I thought Resurrection had some bigger gut punches. Like goddamn.
Yeah, Resurrection's fucked up.
Yeah, it was a fucked up movie. But also, okay, so recently, actually, within the last couple of days, I have watched the following. First of which, I have to scream my love for the Rooftops. It's not quite horror. It's a dark comedy with extreme violence and gore. Violent Night.
Yeah, I was
The movie
able to get
with,
this one in before
oh
Christmas.
my god, David Harbour playing Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And I saw the trailers for this movie, and oh my god, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Like, this is the... I still like Krampus a little bit better, but it's like in the same vein of that movie where it's just like a douchey family on Christmas where circumstances happen and then there's somebody coming to kick ass or kick their ass. And in this one, it happens to be David Harbour, a drunk Santa Claus.
He's like Billy Bob Thornton.
He's actually Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Like as if Billy Bob Thornton were actually Santa Claus and Bad Santa and could kick ass at the same time. So it's just it's a great concept. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's quick. It's fun. It's gory as fuck. Like again, not quite horror, but it's very much like Die Hard. But like, there's one scene in the movie where David Harbour is in a barn and he picks up a sledgehammer, attacked by this group of mercenaries. Basically, the loose plot. Loose plot. A rich family in a huge house on Christmas that's attacked by mercenaries. Santa Claus happens to show up drunk and feels like he can't leave. It's Santa Claus murking all of these villains for an hour and 40 minutes. So it's
like
just
John Wick, basically. With
John
Santa
Wick,
Claus.
but with David Harbour as Santa Claus.
Hammered.
So yeah, hammered the whole
can
time.
get into that.
Like the movie opens with David Harbour sitting at a bar, like hammering beers and taking shots. And the bartender's, "Are you driving somewhere?" And he's like, "Yeah, no, I just have to steer tonight. My ride's on the roof." So it's like completely not taking itself too seriously, but it's also a lot of fun. And like John Leguizamo's in it, so it's like,
oh really?
It's a good
That's
movie.
random.
Yeah, I would recommend it. I almost wrote it off because I rented it, but I paid $20, so I wanted to watch it. And I'm like all that's how bad I wanted to rent it. So I
that's what
rented
it costs to
it
rent it
for
for
right now.
$20?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So I was like, you know what? Like I am by far all Christmased out, but I was like, I have to get this in and say that I saw it, and I will rewatch this movie every Christmas.
Yeah,
every December.
I won't,
Gotta check it out.
I won't.
Okay, fair enough. That's a good call. Admission.
But I will.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I watched A Wounded Fawn today on Shudder, and one of the weirdest fucking artsy-fartsy, pretentious movies I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah. I had a hard time with that one.
The visuals were cool. I guess Josh Rubin is given like a good performance. Like he's just all over the place, and it's just him for most of the movie, aside from the actors and the weird things that he sees.
I thought the chick was good.
She was awesome.
Yeah,
Among
very
other things.
and Stone Cold Fox as well.
Yeah, she was good looking.
Yeah, very very good looking. So yeah, that was not one of my favorites, and it made your top 10. Yes, I can understand
I like
why
my
you liked
artsy-fartsy
it.
weird movies.
I
do.
couldn't get the Greek mythology stuff.
I didn't have any idea what that was
Honestly,
about, but I still liked it.
I didn't even. The other thing that I really picked up on was like the statue that he stole from the first girl that he killed. Spoiler, fuck you.
It happens
like-
the first 10 minutes.
The creature, yeah, exactly. The creatures that were on that statue were essentially they looked like the things that he was seeing. So that's like the only part I was like. But I didn't get like overall, I guess, like huge Greek mythology vibes. I was just like, I don't know what the fuck's going on here.
It was weird.
I was definitely very like,
It felt like a Shakespeare
yeah,
play.
Yeah.
Like at the end,
It did.
It just
Yeah.
was like it turned into like Shakespeare.
so much dialogue, which is fine in a movie. It's not my type.
It's
of
not your
movie.
cup of tea.
So
There's no worms.
Yeah, I didn't.
Like, what are you gonna do?
It didn't have worms. Yeah.
Sarah Lind was the actress playing Meredith.
Yes.
I want to give credit where it's due.
Very-
I don't
very-
want to
Instead of
say
just
that
calling
chick.
it that stone cold.
Yeah, that
boss.
hot chick that's in it.
Maddie the
Sarah Lind.
White
She does
Knight.
do a good.
No, she's she did a great job, and she's beautiful. That's all I was saying. She can do both.
You're beautiful.
Yes,
We love it.
it's okay.
Nice to
We
know.
love it. We love it. Last and certainly, this again also not quite horror, but I did start watching on. I recently came into the acquisition of Apple TV Plus log, and I started watching Severance. Yeah, Apple Plus. It's called Severance, and this is very much of like Black Mirror and Westworld. But the cast is just unbelievable. So Adam Scott is the main character. You've probably seen him like Parks and Rec.
Krampus.
John Turturro's in
Brothers.
it.
Yeah.
Krampus too. Yeah, actually Krampus. John Turturro, Patricia Arquette, Christopher Walken, like
Yeah,
all
it's
these
a
people.
solid fucking cast.
But it's an incredibly weird and strange sci-fi con where I feel like I don't even really want to give too much away. But let's just say there's a company that's found a way to separate your work life, your personal, in a way that seems kind of plausible. And when you start watching it, this feels like a lost out of Black Mirror, and then it just gets weirder
I heard
and
it gets
weirder.
pretty wild.
It's very strange. So I'm like 5 episodes in, and the acting is incredible. Led first and foremost by Adam Scott, who I had no idea could act like this, based on the fact that comedy
He's
stuff.
always a dickhead.
Dude, him and John Turturro, lights out.
John Turturro.
He's fantastic in
incredible. Mr.
everything.
Deeds.
He was fantastic as Carmine Falcone in the Batman. Great. He's great in everything. Obviously, Coen Brothers is in, but yeah. So I can't. So I don't know. I don't even know anyone else that has Apple Plus.
I had it and I got rid of it because I wasn't watching it and I was paying like $13.99 a month. Yeah. Unbeknownst to me.
I have enough streaming services that I pay for. I'm like, I can't just add another one for one show.
I'll start a 7-day trial.
It's okay. It's all right. I guess it already got approved for a second season, but it got nominated for a bunch of Emmys, and I just kind of like heard about it. It's really good. I would consider it like.
Well, see, that's when I start watching shows when I know it's because like $18.99. No second.
I saw that. I feel like that's a piece of news that we
now I have no desire to watch that now. I don't want to watch one season if it
I feel like I contributed to that problem. I didn't watch the first season. I didn't watch anything of it yet.
But Netflix has an issue of, like, they expect everyone, if it doesn't get binged the fucking day it comes out, I feel like they, like, not to watch fucking 10 hours of it.
Right. Well, not only that, but not can.
Exactly.
It also depends on the time of year. It comes out like mid-June. All right.
This is why I have a hard time. This is why I have such a hard time. Stranger Things now so far back that I'm like, this is just
you got like once after one season, I'll start.
That's what I'm excited for. Yellow Jacket. That show was fucking
I didn't wait
sick.
for that one. But
God, I can't wait for Yellow Jackets.
I think we started
it. Showtime?
Yeah.
Yes.
We started
I don't even have.
You gotta get that thing juiced back up.
I canceled it until Yellow Jackets.
We started that one like 3 episodes in, and then we were able to kind of just week by week watch each one. So we're ready, March 24th.
See, that's what I'll do with that, though, is I'm going to get Showtime for like 2 weeks and then just wait till the end and just watch
Showtime has actually a really good horror.
Is it?
Most Climax is on.
I'm definitely going to rewatch Yellow Jackets. Yeah, I feel like I'm going to have to.
You still got to watch Fortitude.
I know. We've been talking about Fortitude forever.
You ever watch Fortitude?
Anyway.
No. Like, for someone that loves The Thing, you watch it.
Both of my devices are timing out on me because we're off topic and I've been touching. Sorry. It's okay, Andrew. Fortitude.
That's my fault.
On my list.
I thought you were saying it's okay to yourself as you were saying sorry.
I was saying I'm sorry that I haven't watched Fortitude yet. So anyway, all right. So the last one I was talking about was Severance on Apple Plus. Okay, who would like to go next and talk about what they've been watching?
I have a very small list. I watched like 7 movies in preparation for our podcast last week, so I was a little bit movied out. So I've been watching a lot of just porn.
But I did watch
porn and
I did watch not necessarily a horror movie, but a very horrific. I watched a documentary on
Netflix. It was called The Volcano Rescue from Fakari. It was about the explosion in 2019 with the eruption of the volcano on White Island off the coast of New Zealand. That is a tourist destination. Basically, they take guided tours there.
Yeah.
And it's about an hour and a half from. So once you're there,
you're there,
and it erupted with people on the island.
Wow.
And it's I don't remember what type of volcano they call it, but it's different. Like, it doesn't spew out like lava. It basically just spews out like steam. Yeah. And it was like 200 Celsius degree steam, basically. 200 Celsius. So that's like
500 degrees.
Yeah.
Well, 100 degrees Celsius is 212 degrees Fahrenheit. But there's that doesn't mean shit.
It's like 350 degrees Fahrenheit.
Or more.
Somewhere. It could be more than that.
I think it's like close to 500
steam
degrees.
that just encompassed people, and like it was basically just the people that were trapped on it and getting off. I think 22 people.
Wow.
Like 50. So, well, there was 50 people that were sent over there. There's a lot of like video and like audio from happening.
Yeah.
A boat that had just left their tour, and you can.
That's scary.
You're waiting. The majority of the people that needed medical help didn't get medical help for well over the burn. Like, they said that they were trying to pull people up, and the skin was just falling, pulling them up.
Jesus, because they were just fucking
roasted,
sautéed.
And I was like, here's a thing I'm never doing is going on a volcano.
No, I mean, dude,
why would you? But it was like the way, like that's where it comes into line. Like, it's like, who's to blame for this? Because they made it seem like it was like, oh, there's some danger to it, but it's not that bad. But in reality, they really didn't have any idea what they were doing, because like level 1 risk, level 2,
and it was at a level.
Oh.
The difference between, like, if it was at a level 2,
I'm not.
Yeah, and the thing was, it had erupted in 2000,
and this is end of.
So maybe don't bring people there.
Seems to be a pattern.
Yeah, every 3 years might.
Volcanoes are intense. I have a couple friends that live in Hawaii. Shout out and Zoe. And I think Jake and Casey were on the island with that one that just erupted like a month or 2.
Oh shit.
And they were like, it was wild, but it's like nothing, it wasn't like life threatening or anything like that, but they were like, it was fucking cool as shit to like sit and see like from your balcony. So I was like, wow. So volcanoes are intense. Mother Nature's fucking pimples, dude.
This is going to be a cat line, but the Tommy Lee Jones volcano knew when I was a kid.
Dude, when the old lady like falls out of the boat.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
More so than Dante's Peak.
Dante's Peak was
both
brutal
those
too,
terrifying
dude.
movies.
I like Dante's Peak better than Volcano just because of Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, I was
Pierce
gonna say,
Brosnan
yeah.
sees his bone. I remember when I was a really little kid, and that was the first time I saw a movie that had someone's bone sticking out, and he was like,
Dude, then you get like those teenagers that are swimming in like the little like
the hot pot, the hot pot.
They're like, oh, they find them like, oh, gross.
I always mix those two movies up because they're the same.
Yeah.
But,
Well, Volcano's different because isn't that like happening in like L.A.?
No, earthquakes can, but I mean volcanoes. I
No,
think
but
you're
isn't
looking
the
at-
movie Volcano like happened in like
it's
a
in
city?
Washington.
Is it? Okay,
Dante's
yeah, I was
Peak
gonna
is
say-
in
Washington.
Dante's
The
Peak is
Pacific
in Washington. I
Northwest,
thought Volcano was like
there
some
could be
random
volcanoes.
volcano.
Volcanoes up
like
there.
Yeah.
no, I feel like
It's a
Volcano happened
movie.
in like L.A.
Men
It
in
was like,
Black
oh my
didn't
god, all
happen
of a
either,
sudden
and
this
Tommy Lee
lava
Jones
just out. Dante's Peak was at
That's correct. Yes, so that wasn't us.
Volcano.
I feel like, also
no, Mount
that's,
St. Helens is in the U.S.
No, I said it was. I was
I
agreeing
thought
with
you
you.
said it
Yes. No.
Volcano is definitely somewhere on the Pacific coast.
Volcano was in L.A.
I don't think it was in LA.
I'm pretty sure
it
that
up.
movie was absurd. It took place
wait a
like
second.
some volcano came
We
out of
have-
nowhere
we
and
have-
then just erupted.
Andrew, is there anything else that you watched
No,
besides
that's
this
all I
volcano?
want.
All right, look up where it was. Matt, why don't you tell us about what you watched, my man?
My two quick rewatches were Day of the Dead because I got it on Blu-ray for Christmas.
I know, and you were telling Andrew how much he used to watch this week because he didn't think he watched
It's so good, dude. That movie kicks so much fucking ass.
Okay.
My
Before we
other
get too far into this, when a massive earthquake rocks the city of Los Angeles,
Alright, whatever,
called
dude.
it.
returns.
Alright.
No, but after geologist Dr. Amy Barnes warns that a volcano may be forming in the sewer tunnel.
It's up
What
to the
kind of a
Ninja
movie
Turtles.
is this? Yeah. So in the sewer tunnels of LA, a volcano just starts forming.
because
That sounds
90s.
poopy.
Because
Because
90s,
movies.
yeah.
I had my other rewatch was Child's Play.
Nice.
And then I started watching like half of Child's Play 2, and I fell asleep, and then I decided to watch something else. But
Have you
I was,
watched... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I was like sick last week for like Thursday and Friday, so I had a lot of downtime. I felt like crap, and
I was going to say, real quick, before we move on off Child's Play, I feel like that's a franchise we don't really... I don't think any of the three of us...
I love no.
Dude,
yeah.
hate
See,
Child's
it's like
Play.
a nostalgia thing because it used to really scare me when I was like really, really little.
Oh,
Sure.
yes, that
So,
was terrifying.
Dude, honestly, like they're not that. They're like, and I was like sick, so it was one of those things where I was just like, when you just like comfort movies and shit,
Yes.
like
Yeah,
that.
really
Like
nice
I
things.
watched Day of the Dead, and I was like, that kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. That's
Yeah.
really bleak.
That's a fucking movie.
Yeah, so I put on Child's Play, and I watched like the first couple of those, but then
So, have you watched any of the Child's Play TV
show?
series? I've actually heard it's like
It's a TV
really,
show.
I have
really good.
too. But I heard the
Yeah.
second season was fun.
Okay, all right. All I
So,
know is
I remember
that,
watching the remake that came out like
That was the one with Mark Hamill playing Chucky, which nobody liked.
was that Mark?
It was, but I know that the TV series like has the original
Oh, Brad Dourif.
Brad Dourif.
Yeah.
and
What is that on?
it's
Sci-fi.
on either USA or
Oh,
Sci-Fi.
Sci-Fi, yeah.
But apparently they're taking their TV series. I don't know. We'll report back. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on your.
They're all done with Stargate.
Channel Zero was.
Channel Zero. That was Sci-Fi. All right, what else, Matt?
I finally had the time to tap into In Search of Darkness Part 3.
Nice.
Because the crowdfund thing, they sent me a code so I could watch it on Vimeo. So I was able to do that. My name's in the credits. Which,
Wow, that's
yeah.
pretty sweet.
You done made it.
Yeah, and so I watched that. It's 5.5 hours long.
Speaking of
Like-
which,
Well worth it.
go ahead. You go.
I was just saying the first two are already fucking 4 hours long, and it's like it's unbelievable that there's still 5.5 hours of stuff to talk about.
Dude, this just
And there
speaks to how
is.
much horror there was in the 80s.
It was, dude. It was like I was kind of like, damn. Like I feel like this is kind of gonna be like all just like really shitty. Which there is a good like portion of it that talks about like the really shitty movies that came out, but that was only a little part. And it was the fucking tits. And I actually watched a couple movies they talked about after, and that goes into my next couple watches, which was New Year's Evil, which it was New Year's weekend.
Nice,
So I was like,
nice.
all right, I'll watch this, and that was cool. So it was about a guy who. Basically, his resolution is he's going to kill a woman at midnight every night. But he goes by each time period so he's killing 4 people. So he's like going and dude,
in all different time zones. This
yeah.
guy's like way out of
yeah.
control.
So so that was cool. Pretty good little slasher, kind of underrated. I think that was 1981. And then I watched this movie, The Children, which I hadn't heard of. This is also really early 80s. And so what happens is this, like, this was really, really good, but it was also, like, really cheesy at the same time, but I enjoy it.
Hey, a movie can be both.
The special effects were very much like in Prince of Darkness by John Carpenter.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
When the lady starts to melt, and she just really, the blonde lady.
Yep.
A lot like that. So, but what happens is basically this nuclear plant melts down and this toxic radiation goes out, and it basically gives all these kids this, like, disease that makes them, like, all they do is they kind of become zombies, but not really. And they just kind of, like, mindlessly walk towards their family members and hug them. And when they hug them, they, like, acidically burn everywhere they're hugging. Nice. And so, yeah, it was pretty out of control. You have this insane scene where this mom's like, there's something wrong with Timmy, and the dad's like, that's not Timmy, and fucking blows him away with a shotgun. It's just like, and he just doesn't. He just gets right back up, and I like laughed in bed at that. But
nice.
So those were my, like, big watches. But, like, again, I'm gonna always plug this. If you haven't gotten into the In Search of Darkness stuff, the first two are on Shudder. The third one's gonna be on Shudder. I should be getting my Blu-ray in the mail anytime now, which I can't wait. But
hashtag physical.
Yep, and check those out. Like, if you have a day where you're like, all right, I got nothing to do, like, do I want to watch the Wishmaster fucking series again? Like, no, just go watch In Search of Darkness, and then you'll be ready to make time to watch the rest.
Andrew, you'll love it. I've seen the first two parts.
Dude, it's I've seen the first two parts several times.
When did the first one come out?
2000. You would. And it's like a lot like that.
They're all on
like,
Shudder.
Yeah.
The first two, at least.
It's all, dude, like, it's so well done. Like,
they're like, what, 3 hours each?
More than that. But yeah, like, and the way that they have this great, like, format of when they go to talk about a new, it's basically just this giant grid of, like, VHS covers. And it just fucking zooms around. And it's fucking so good, dude. Awesome. So definitely
We've watched that here before.
We have. We've probably watched part one before. You definitely know it. You know, watch it.
That's a great Halloween party, like, background show.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're in
those
January.
are my watches.
Feels so far away.
As
always,
there.
great contributions, my friend.
Only
Both
9
of you
months
guys,
away.
great contribution. Great. Also, I wanted to say that you jogged my memory. This podcast is being named in a credit.
Shit.
Can't say what it is yet. I don't know if I'm at liberty to say, but safe to say, for quite a while, you might know a movie that I've talked to, and maybe it'll be that one. So,
cut that.
We'll see what happens. I'll tell you what, though, before we get into our next topic, which is the movie that we're going to discuss, why don't we take a quick 90-second break to hear a word from our sponsors. Stick around.
It's official. The critics' decision is in. Spooky World is spooktacular. Enter the new black hole. If you dare. Or the new horror House of Wax. This year, don't miss the real Jason, Bobby Pickett, or Alice Cooper. Phone the 24-hour Spooky World hotline. 508-838-0200. That's 508-838-0200. Spooky World is just west of Boston and haunts every night from October 1st till November 1st. If you had the nerve, you'd phone 508-838-0200.
It's America's Horror Theme Park. Spooky World.
Don't be scared. I'm the super sweet monster with the super sweet new cereal, Count Chocula.
Biffle, here's the super sweet new cereal, Frankenberry.
But I've got chocolate sweeties for monstrous chocolate flavor.
Well, I've got berry-flavored sweeties for monster strawberry flavor.
Count Chocula.
Frankenberry.
Hi.
Frankenberry.
Count Chocula.
Sleepy flowers.
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
The new face of evil is going to scare you to death. Barrett's Haunted Mansion. It's killer this year. Then be next door to the Abington Ale House. Barrett's Haunted Mansion. Eat, drink, and be scary. Go to bhmansion.com.
And we're back. Gentlemen, very happy to hear that all of our sponsors reappeared for year 2023, year 2. And I'm also to see that some of us like to stand and podcast. And I don't feel like the weird one only doing it right now.
I needed to. Is that how that works for the sponsors? Do they, like, they sign on for, like...
No, it's all fake. I just created a commercial with all that shit. Dude, it's fake.
So we have no sponsors?
Dude,
What are we, unsponsored?
Andrew, do you guys listen to the show? Have you ever listened to it? It's a Spooky World commercial from 1992.
I figured it was something.
Count Chocula, Creepy Crawlers from the 90s.
No, we did have sponsors at one point.
We did, but I honestly, I guess this is a good place to talk about it, is on the show. I listened back to our show a few times, and I did not like where the ads were automatically inserting them. I feel like it cut off a lot of our conversation, and it bugged me.
So you told them to get...
I said no. I turned off the advertising filter for the show. Which, I mean, if you guys want me to do that, we can certainly go back and do that. But I just personally found it distracting.
We don't need the 12 cents.
Yeah, be like every other podcast and talk about Blue Chew and fucking...
Yeah, no one has time for
I mean, we talked about... what were the stupid...
What about can't we do, like, advertisements, like, live reads, like, where you just read it?
I mean, we kind of did that. I did it for Shine Through for quite a while.
That doesn't count.
No, I know.
We do plug Fangoria.
We did another
so,
live
honestly, all right, so if you're still listening to this right now, if you haven't fast-forwarded, the way that you can really support us, I guess we don't really talk about this. The ways that you can support our show is if you go to that link for Fangoria, shop.fangoria.com/hometownhorrorpod, which I plug at the beginning of every episode. Any merch that you buy from that site, we actually get money off of it.
Just start a GoFundMe for Hometown.
I mean, we don't do that right now. We don't do a GoFundMe. We don't do a Patreon.
Well, that would be not
lots of
maybe down the road we can
lots of podcasts do Patreons. We just don't. Everything that we do is
we could
free.
do cameos. You want a cameo?
I mean, if anybody ever asked us for a cameo,
that'd be cool.
I would be the most enthusiastic cameo person ever.
The only person that's allowed to do cameos though is Kat.
It's going to be all Kat, and she can have to read the captions live while being video recorded because she'll be the most funny, of course, as usual. I wish she was here right now, but it's okay. Sometimes duty calls. What were we talking about before all this?
We were getting ready to go into our...
We're going to talk about our movie, but I feel like we were talking about some...
Nothing.
Well, I asked...
you guys didn't realize that our sponsors were actually fake.
Because I don't know. I figured it was like some sort of like
we're not sponsored
thing of like horror facts.
That's
or something
okay.
Like that.
It's all right. We're not sponsored by Spooky. That's a audio reel that I created for 90 seconds.
Oh, I know that. I
was like really getting I was like, is this like our fiscal year? Like we started.
Oh my god, I wish.
Where's my bonus?
I mean, hey,
I get 12 cents.
Spooky World, Count Chocula, Creepy Crawlers, Frankenstein, Barrett's Haunted Mansion. If you guys actually do want to sponsor us,
Frankenberry.
We talk about.
Not gonna...
We talk about. Well, it was a Frankenstein clip after Count Chocula.
Shows what I know.
Yes, you don't listen to anything.
No, I'm not going to listen to our own podcast. I don't want to hear myself talk.
You've turned into Cat. Anyway, if any of you guys want to sponsor us. So anyway, we're talking about a 2017 movie called Ghost Stories. And,
not to be confused with the 8 other movies named Ghost Stories.
So
from
I feel
2017.
that honestly, I feel like is
very confusing.
Minus points for this movie. The fact that you actually have to declare which Ghost Stories movie that we're talking about. It's still a great movie, and I'm not gonna dock it. But I'm just saying it is a generic title. They probably could have come up with something. But this
when Matt was like, "Is this a comedy?" I was like, "Is he watching the right one?"
Yeah, that's why I was like,
I don't know. It was kind of funny.
But then when you watch, it's cheeky, like you said.
Yeah. Well, all right, so let's talk about Ghost Stories, and this was obviously a pick from me. This movie came out in 2017. I saw it right after it came out, and I loved it the first time I saw it. It's not necessarily a type of movie that's like a huge, wholly watchable ability, I guess. I don't know what to say, but
rewatch value.
Rewatch value, perfect. I watched it again for the first time in 5 years since it came out in 2019, and I was impressed how much it actually held up when I knew some things coming that I saw the first time, and it actually surprised me how much it. So. This is our first movie of the anthology, and I think we're off to Andrew, talk to me about this movie, because I know you've seen it before, and I know Matt, you did not.
Watching it again, because like you said, it's been like 5 years. It took a while for me to remember, and to me, it's barely an anthology. And I don't know if that's almost a compliment, because it's one of the better anthologies in the fact that everything binds together very well.
Yeah.
So I almost don't feel like it is an anthology. I know it is, but it just is done so well. Like a lot of anthologies end each story, and then they mostly tied. But this is
has
very
kind
well
of an
done.
interweaving.
It's very well done.
It is, and it isn't. And I think this movie has one of the qualities I like about certain movies, where all the stories are to a certain extent, or in this extent, they're connected a lot. Like you need to pay attention to everything which won't spoil it. Yep, sorry, continue. I actually like that aspect of it.
No, that's what I like about it more, because it's a more of a cohesive unit. It's not just three loosely based stories that are bookended on psychopath.
And knowing you, my friend, I have a feeling you like to always say that anthologies, they lose you when the story changes, and like the difference is so jarring that it's like tough to pay attention to.
Well, you know what? It was like, that was my opinion. Then I started watching the rest of those VHS movies, and then I rewatched Creepshow, and then I watched what else? There was another one that I watched. You know what? One of my rewatches I didn't mention was All Hallows Eve, the original Terrifier.
Yeah.
That's an anthology movie. But
Art the Clown, baby.
Sure. And now I'm like, okay, I'm a little more cool with it. But yeah, this definitely had much more of a fluid flow to it. Like, it was like, at first it was just a fucking movie, and I'm like, this is hilarious. This guy's just like shitting on mediums and like going and like exposing them and like being like, you guys are frauds. And then it kind of got into this weird little like mystery thing, and then you get into your actual like specific story here, story here, with a little bit of fluff in it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just like Tom Atkins yelling at Joe Hill, being like "fuck comic books," and then all of a sudden you're watching fucking
the in between story. I don't know the technical word, but it kept you engaged.
Yeah,
right. Like seeing
the wraparound
Goodman,
story.
Philip Goodman, seeing Dr. Goodman like go between cases. Because I feel like that essentially, like, there's three segments, but there's a fourth segment that is his story that wraps everything together,
ties it up with a little bow.
And a lot of anthologies call like the intro segment like a wraparound, and it doesn't usually feel like that. This is one of those movies where the wraparound actually pays off, because obviously it's
the reach around.
The reach around, reach around. If you don't know what's going on in that particular part of the story, you're not going to get the entire movie, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. And so I was the only one that hadn't seen it, I think, except Kat.
Yes.
And so I was watching it, and at first it was making me laugh, which I was like, oh, is this going to be like... That's why I texted you. I was like, is this like a comedy? Like, is this supposed to be... Because it's just that dry British humor.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, they're being... And so... and then it got really not funny at all. And so...
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I was like, this is actually stressing me the fuck out.
Yeah.
There's some very stressful parts of that.
Well, I was watching it like in the dark. Like I really set myself up, and I was like,
well, I feel like that brings up a good point. I think this is actually a pretty scary movie.
Yeah, there's some good scares, and it's like the jump. There's not really jump scares, but it's like it's just very, very. The tension's built very well.
There's one jump scare in particular that got me real bad.
Is that the one where
in segment 2?
Segment 2, I think, is the best
scariest
segment.
That's the best segment, I think, by far.
Alex Lothar.
Yeah.
I could have sworn I've seen him in a bunch of stuff, but
that's
I don't
because
think
you have. I have that written.
Like I know he was in the Imitation Game, but I can't remember anything else.
So he's in the Imitation Game. He's also in an episode of Black Mirror called "Shut Up and Dance."
That's what it is. I was like, why does it look so familiar?
In an awesome show on Netflix that got canceled after one season called "The End of the Fucking World."
Oh, I watched that show.
That
That's
show's
good.
Awesome.
I like that show.
That show was great, and it got canceled.
But
dude, he is.
Rifkind.
Like, he just plays such, like, a nervous, like, anxious, crazed teenage kid so well. And obviously, Andrew, like, knowing me, you knew that was going to be my favorite segment of 3, and that was, I think, my favorite.
Oh, he was the best.
Couple things about that.
Well, I think I have one of them nailed.
Yeah.
One of them because when he's explaining why he's... did that remind you of Seven?
Which part are you talking about?
The dude, and when they the lust guy, when he's like,
yes,
and like, because he was that like frantic and afraid of like what he saw. I was like, damn, like this kid's making me fucking nervous for like watching this.
Not only that particular part, and yes, because I feel like there are a few nods, and I texted you guys this.
Oh, the Evil Dead thing was.
Yeah. There's an Evil Dead camera, spot on.
Oh, yep, I remember
cameo, and that was in this particular.
Segment, that segment when the thing's coming up to the car.
The creepiest part I found to be about the whole movie was when Dr. Goodman comes into that guy's house.
He locks the door.
And he immediately locks the door, and he says, Mom, I'll be upstairs with Dr. Goodman. He runs upstairs, and then Dr. Goodman walks out, and both the parents... Did you guys notice this at all?
I missed that.
Oh, you didn't see it? So they're both just standing in front of the stove, still, directly next to each other. And it like cuts to a camera angle where you kind of see both their faces, but you can't. And neither one of them are moving the entire time.
I must have turned away.
I thought it was the creepiest. I can't believe you guys
there's a
didn't
lot
notice
of stuff. There's a lot of like.
it lingers for like good 5 seconds. Like
there's a lot of out of focus background stuff.
There is, but this was very much in focus. But I mean, obviously,
Yeah,
like
I
when you.
don't know. I missed that.
No spoilers yet, but when you see the end of this movie, like, okay, like that particular part gives some explanation. But like the first time I saw the movie and I thought, okay, maybe this is leaning into this like demonic possession type thing that he's talking about and he's so freaked out about and he's like sitting on his bed like convulsing and letting himself about. It just adds to the level of scariness. And again, again, scary movie, I think.
See, the thing that's funny, like watching it, that was the first time I've seen it, and I didn't really have any where it was. Like, I had no idea what the was going to be, if any of the even going to be.
Yeah.
But it was completely up in the air. I don't know what the fuck this at all.
Yeah. Professor Goodman very unlikable, which made it a lot
Yeah,
better.
he was a prick.
Yeah.
He was,
so.
I feel like Andy Nyman is the actor who plays that actor. And I feel like this is a first on our show. So he also co-wrote this, co-directed this, and it's based on a play. This might be the first movie that we've covered that's a play. I guess a regular stage play that had been in London for a number, that he also starred in, wrote, directed, all of that. So yeah, and it was also called Ghost Stories, and it's essentially the same exact plot. So yeah, I thought it was an interesting... All right, gentlemen, so a little more here on Ghost Stories. I know we were the second to get more into this. I thought... And when you see the ending of it, you kind of get it has some interesting things to say about, specifically tend to ignore things and push them down and how they can be a problem. And I feel like this is one of those movies that, like, I mean, a lot of the movies we cover, I don't have a lot to say about, like, a theme, but I feel like this one it's a fairly obvious, because every single story has sort of element of that, and it's all tied back together pretty neatly in a bow at the end of them when you see what happened. I thought that was pretty cool. And I just have to say, I love me some Martin. He's just great in everything that he's in, but he's fantastic. And he's also, we talked about just the deranged from Alex in Black Mirror. There's some good acting in this, some good writing. It's a good story, which I feel like ultimately to a good movie. How about that? Good acting, good story, good directing.
Yeah, it should go.
Story checks out.
So I think it's a very strong start to Janthology. Gentlemen, give it to you. Anything else you have to say?
I'll go last because you've seen it before.
So. I liked it better the first time I watched it. But that's not to say that I as much this time. It's almost a cop out at the end, but the way they do it is very well done. So I like the way that they bring in all the characters from the stories and how like things that they said, because I don't want to give away the ending.
Right, not yet at least.
So they do a very good job of that, but it is kind of
I kind of thought that, but then I was like, you know what though? Like,
it was really well done.
It was really fucking like intense when it was happening though. Like,
yes, like the stories themselves, each story in its own is very intense.
Like
very
when that
scary,
dude pulls his hood off.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
Well, so Matt, I knew Andrew had seen this movie and I knew that he liked it. I was very interested to hear your movie, so I'm excited to hear that you liked it. Surprised by it because I feel like it's definitely like there's some surprising for sure.
Yeah. I didn't really know what to expect. Like, I was reading the synopsis, and I was like, this doesn't really sound like an anthology. And so I watched it, and then I was like, oh, okay, like, it breaks off. He's got these 3 people to go investigate now. That's where we're going to get our flashback, which is exactly... And so, but then, yeah, you get to the ending. You have to give me the green light.
Not quite yet.
All right. But, like, you get to, like, how it all comes together, and, that's where I was like, oh, cool. Like, that's... Because that was, like, the last part that I watched. Like, I watched The Last Guys thing. Because I had to go to sleep last night. I was tired. Yep. And it was, like, 9 o'clock. And so I had, like, 40 minutes left. So I watched, like, the Last Guy, his story, and then basically just the whole end of it.
Okay, perfect.
But and I was sitting on the edge of my bed, and, like, today I finished folding my laundry. And, I was like, all right, cool. I'm like, now, and I was watching while I was doing that, and I was like, oh, wow, this is fucking wild. Like, this is gross. Like, that third guy's story was insane.
Yep.
And then, I was able to kind of sit and watch the end, and I was like, holy shit, this is fucked up. Yeah.
Perfect. Kat! Welcome back!
Nice of you to join us.
She's doing great things. Always.
Yes, I'm
Kat,
back.
so we were just talking
2
about
thumbs way up.
Ghost Stories.
Yeah, I liked it.
Did you have a favorite segment? Did you have anything in particular that you liked or disliked about the movie? Like, I know you also were kind of in and out last night, so what were your thoughts on Ghost Story? Aside from thumbs up.
It was kind of weird. I didn't know anything going into it. Like, I had no idea at all.
Yeah, I kind of did the same.
And it was kind of cool. Like, the way that they kind of did the guy, and the whole concept was... and then the boo scares were weird. Boo scares that there were.
Well, they were British.
Yeah. So they're like, boo!
Cheeky bugger.
But... yeah, I thought that the weird, like, demon white goat thing, that guy was...
Yeah.
And
Demon White.
The middle. That was that's what we were talking primarily about, the middle story.
Yeah. It was weird.
Yeah, that one was. Well, you never really get a fucking good look at it.
No, never.
And I was expecting.
It's very quick, but there's. I think the biggest jump scare in the entire movie is that particular. Like when he's sitting in the car. Like I was just like.
And it's like in the back.
You
and
can
it's like
see
come
like,
back or something. It's like don't open or it's like don't get out or something.
The camera work leaves you so much wiggle room to like see something behind him.
Well, then he sees that, and then the entity gets in the back seat and wraps his hands around. It's like, stay. He's like, fuck,
so
man,
creepy. Yeah, right?
Bye.
Yeah.
So, that was definitely my favorite segment.
I know that this has nothing to do with it, but worst parents ever. Your child who just got their license texting
and they're just
and you just keep calling him like he's driving. Stop calling him.
Right.
You know what you're not supposed to do when you're driving? Talk on the phone. Shut up.
Again, you feel like those parents were real
or
not?
Knowing that they weren't. Well, no, because none of that was real.
All
it was all just in the guy's head.
We'll go spoilers after we talk about the rest of the year in horror, in which I feel like this is a good year. This is a good year. So let me just rip off a couple of, in alphabetical order, no particular order of mine. Horror movies here. Tell me if you liked it better or worse. 1922, starring Thomas Jane.
I like
do.
Ghost Stories.
Me too.
Am I saying better as in than that favorites Ghost Stories?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to be sure.
I'd say Ghost Stories. I did like Night.
Alien Covenant, directed by Ridley Scott.
Nope.
Ooh, Alien Covenant.
Alien Covenant.
Yeah. Me too. Yep. Let's see. Annabelle Creation.
Never
this
saw
movie
it.
is way better than that. Not even close. The Babysitter, which was a Netflix exclusive.
I actually watched that.
I didn't watch
It wasn't
that.
terrible because I was living with my at the time. She wanted to watch it.
Is that the one that has fucking Johnny Depp's wife in it?
It has Samara Weaving and Bella Thorne in it.
Oh, what's the one that had a big trial with?
Yeah. I can't remember her name.
Maybe
Amber
she
Heard.
pooped in his bed. Amber Heard.
I'm thinking of something else.
No,
There's
I don't
another
know if
movie
she was
that
in
she's in that's a horror
That movie wasn't bad, but this movie.
The Bye Bye Man, which
Oh, I love that.
I never saw the
better
Bye Bye
movie.
Man.
The Pee
Better
Pee
movie.
Poo Poo Man?
Yep.
The Bye Bye movie?
That's. Oh, sorry. I'm thinking of the MT.
No, the Bye Bye Man was good.
Okay.
I didn't see that.
So you like it better than Ghost Stories?
I haven't.
Well,
what was it?
so
2017 ago.
I'm gonna guess by
Bye-bye.
your happiness that you liked it better. Andrew, Creep 2 or Ghost Story?
Creep 2.
Okay. Group. Cult of Chucky or Ghost Story?
I
No
like
Ghost Stories
Cult of
there.
Chucky,
I don't
but
think I ever saw Cult
Ghost
of
Stories.
By
Good
default,
answer.
I afterwards.
The Flatliners remake is trash. Gerald's Game or Ghost Stories? I'm gonna go Gerald's Game.
Game.
Yep, that's a better movie.
Yeah.
Never seen it?
You like that movie?
I think that was on my list.
Solid. It's
on
Actually,
Netflix
if it's not,
still.
I should.
I
put it
feel
on.
like we
seen that
know
movie,
the
that's
politically correct answer to this. Get Out or Ghost Stories?
Oh, it's. I mean, it's just Get Out. Like,
Yeah.
Get Out is the better movie.
like,
Get Out.
let's
Yeah,
be
Get Out's
real.
Yeah, I know. You have to like Get Out if you like horror at all.
Politically
Yeah.
correct.
So the next movie listed after Get Out on my list is Halloween Pussy Trap Kill Kill.
What?
Never seen it.
I missed that.
I
one.
missed that, unfortunately.
Here's one for Kat. Happy Death Day or Ghost Story?
Happy Death Day.
Andrew, really?
I like
Wow.
Happy Death Day.
God, wow. Okay.
Gerald's Game. Yeah.
Gerald's Game.
With a G.
Add it to
So
the list.
It, the movie, not the TV series, or
Well, that
Ghost
yeah,
Story.
it's 2017.
It,
So
It would win.
it would.
Yep. Let's see, Jigsaw or Ghost Story.
I never saw Jig.
You didn't see
I like
Jigsaw?
Ghost Stories.
Ghost
better.
Stories better.
The last Saw movie I
Chris-
saw was Spiral.
Wait, was Spiral?
So you
Chris
skipped
Rock?
Jigsaw?
I skipped about
This
about
movie
8 of them.
came out in the year of our Lord,
know,
2017.
2017.
It's
Yeah,
now
no, yes.
2023.
The year of our
Trey.
I don't know.
2022
if I saw it.
was
I
the
must have
Chris
seen
Chris
Jigsaw.
Rock Saw movie. Not that year.
2021.
2020. Sorry.
Yeah, that didn't come out this.
I was going to say,
Spiral.
there's no way.
Oh, no,
that got
sorry.
that
No.
far on our
Yeah,
radar.
that wasn't on my
Nope,
list.
you're right.
No, Spiral was the one, right?
2021.
Yeah.
Matt, have you ever seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Yeah.
Okay, better or worse than Ghost Stories?
Worse.
Mother! Better or worse
I'll
than
take
Ghost
Mother,
Stories?
please.
Mother.
I'll take
Yeah.
Ghost Stories.
Really?
Cat!
Mother!
I'll take Mother all day. I took Mother in
fucking love
the
Mother.
2010s draft.
Yeah.
I mean, for that year, Mother would probably be my favorite.
Okay.
Maybe.
Cat, starting with you. Rings. The sequel to The Ring.
Two.
The American sequel to The
I
Ring.
didn't see
I
that.
didn't
Sequel
see
to The
that.
Ring 2.
Or Ghost Stories. No,
Ghost
never
Stories,
saw it?
I don't think I saw it.
I guarantee you Ghost Stories is better. Andrew, The Killing of a Sacred Deer or Ghost Stories?
Killing of a Sacred
Wow.
Deer is
Yeah,
awesome.
Killing of a
Matt?
Sacred Deer was way
Wow.
better.
Okay. Let's see. The Ritual or Ghost
Oh,
Stories?
The
Ooh,
Ritual.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%.
And-
Let's see.
was a good
Anyone
year.
seen
Very good
seen
year.
Tigers Are Not Afraid?
No, I did
It's a
not
Mexican
see
horror
that.
movie that came out in 2017 that
Are we not going to talk about Sharknado 5, Gorman?
we can.
I didn't
I
see
think
that.
Ghost Stories
Ghost
is
Stories
better.
is better, but I just wanted you to...
Absolutely. We can also talk about, let's see, Underworld Blood Wars, Vampire Cleanup Department, Veronica. That was a
VCD.
big
that-
Netflix release.
That was a Spanish one.
Yep, it
yeah,
was.
that was good. I
So
actually
Veronica
think I
or
like,
Ghost Stories?
I think I like that.
I don't think I saw it.
Werewolves of the Third Reich or Ghosts?
That sounds like it would
that
be
one.
awesome, and I might want to watch that.
All right, so the only other movie that we've seen, according to this, and also this list, subjective, by the way, because it's on Wikipedia. Ghost Stories isn't even on this list.
Yeah, so you're
as a horror
missing
movie.
some phenomenal movies
Yeah.
that are put on there.
Andrew, the anthology movie XX or Ghost
XX is
Stories.
better.
Be there. Cat?
It's 'cause
Which
you hate-
movie?
It's because you hate
XX?
women.
XX or
That was
Ghost
the anthology,
Stories.
right?
Yes.
All women directors.
Oh, you know what?
I better.
There's a couple other... I just Googled it. It Comes at Night is
Oh.
another one.
That movie was kind of.
I didn't really
blah.
like it.
Didn't
Haven't seen that.
Terrified, which is kind of like this, where it plays like a anthology, but it has this interweaving story. That might be one
It's
worth
like the guy's
visiting.
like a split face on the.
I mean, hey,
Yeah.
that's open. We can do that for Janthology.
That's a
Absolutely.
sca- that was on the 101 Scariest Shudder
Certainly
movies.
was. I would say we should do that next week.
That movie's
because
scary
that's-
as
I have
fuck,
no.
dude.
I have
Is
no
it?
better ideas for next
Yeah.
week. So, absolutely. Terrifier. I'm on board.
No, Terrified.
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 Yeah, you pretty much covered the rest of it.
So I guess my point being, this movie is not listed on the 2017 list of horror movies. Do you consider this to be a horror?
Well, that's because you're using Wikipedia, which is
Well,
trash.
yeah. How is this not?
No,
a horror
Wikipedia is
movie?
trash. I mean, it's absolutely a horror movie, right? It's called
I mean,
Ghost Stories.
What is
like,
it
yeah.
categorized? A thriller?
Well, I feel like I was thrown
This is
off a little
definitely
bit
a
last
horror
night
movie.
when Matt said it's a comedy, and I was like,
These are actually no, I can't say that they're all American movies, but yeah, this is just I think it's just under the
Yeah, underrated movie.
Okay.
It would
Yeah,
probably
excellent.
fall in my top 50% of the because there's a lot of bangers.
Oh, huge.
Yeah,
Like,
it
that
would,
made-
be,
that
it
was
would
very
probably
tough.
be in the top 20.
Yeah.
I just thought
It would be in the
what
top
scene I
half.
really
So
liked
if I had
to be-
seen 20 of those movies, it would be in the top 10. Probably
think so,
towards
too.
the bottom
Yeah, that's probably true
part
for
of
me,
the top
too.
10.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of those movies that I'd say.
Yeah, I really liked
Yeah,
a lot
I think
more.
so.
Did you guys talk about like?
Not quite
I
yet,
do.
but I mean, all right. So
I didn't
we're
know, like,
we
we're
did we did favor the second story.
yeah
Okay.
we're past spoilers at this point now. So spoilers. Which hey, go watch the fucking movie. So Kat, what was your favorite segment?
I think I really liked the part. What's his name? The guy that
The Hobbit.
Sherlock.
Martin
the
Freeman.
Hobbit.
Martin
Bilbo.
Freeman. Yeah.
What?
Martin Freeman.
Oh, okay. Wait.
No, Martin.
It's his cousin,
Incorrect.
We've all watched
Martin,
four
yeah.
different
Yeah,
movies.
they're brothers
I
from
didn't.
another
I
mother.
was supposed to watch March. I watched March and didn't watch Ghost Stories.
No.
March to the Penguins or March of the Penguins?
March of to the Penguins.
March of to the Penguins. There you go.
No, so I liked when he like ripped his face off and
Yeah.
then he like ripped the thing. He was like, "It's only what you're made."
Yeah, heavy.
Wild, like crazy. That whole like that whole.
Well, that was a
scene
good little
was
twist,
Crazy, yeah. Like
So-
nuts.
Couple things about that. I thought was a very interesting fact. When they were marketing this movie, they actually marketed it as the brain sees what it wants to see. Ghost Stories, and they spelled it GHOSTSTOREIS. They misspelled it on purpose because they wanted to see how many people would actually notice and it ties into the theme of like the brain sees what it wants to see. Like most people would see ghost stories, but like actually.
Well, that's like those things where you can read an entire paragraph.
About to
where all the
Elaine
words
shove
are
you.
all off.
This is correct.
I swear to God. I swear to God. I swear to God. It's on IMDb. That's what
Not on this one. See, I saw this poster, and then you posted.
There's
like,
two different posters.
This other like way
There's
like
two different.
When
There's two
I saw
different
the
ones.
poster that you posted, I was like,
So
like,
I
like, this looks mad dorky.
I pulled my facts.
Oh, the one
from
where it's
every
just like the
episode.
four people. Like,
Yeah, and they're I was like,
the other one with like the mouth open.
Yeah, this one's
that
cool.
one.
That
was
one,
great.
yeah, it's really cool.
That's why I was like, I think I don't know. If
I
I'm watching
couldn't
the right
find
movie.
that
You might
in,
watch.
in HD enough to post on it, but so
Yeah, that one.
yes, high definition.
Excuse me, sir. Do you have any scrumpets? And they're just like fucking
Crumpets, dude.
Scrumpets.
tea and scrumpets. Do you have any tea and scrumpets?
Tea and scroties.
Dumb and Dumber, remember? Tea and
We'll get some
scrumpets.
tea and scrumpets.
What did you guys think of the actual aspect of the movie where Dr. Goodman is like exposing the psychic? I thought that was a pretty cool part of the movie.
Yeah,
It was
I
interesting.
mean, I thought
Like
it was
help
funny.
lead
build
into the
the
rest of the
story,
stories,
yep.
right?
It made me dislike him a lot.
Yeah,
Because
I
he
agree.
did seem like a pretentious asshole. That
How? Wait,
But
how
he
did-
was right.
Oh, wait, okay, hold on a second.
But was he?
How did you get
Well,
that?
yeah, the first guy. He
How
was
did you
like,
get that
I've
impression?
hacked
Oh,
your
well,
whole
that
thing.
guy, yes.
Yeah.
Psychics are assholes that prey on people that have hope.
No, but
Like,
to
how
have
do you
no
that
belief in
impression?
supernatural
What
is
do you mean?
is
People
a
have
is
a
a
gift.
Are you kidding me?
Have you
You're
seen the
fucking out of
South
your
Park
mind.
episode, The
Yeah.
Biggest Douche in the Universe?
Yes.
the people that have
yes.
gifts aren't on TV. So yes, the people on TV are, but there are people that can communicate with the dead. And that.
See,
I've heard
I don't
some
know if I
pretty.
buy
I've heard
that.
some pretty wild stories, and they've been pretty legit. But I won't. Go
If
into
someone's
No, I
on the
don't.
Sci-Fi Channel doing a live read, yeah, that's probably
Ripley's, believe it or not.
not likely to
Remember
be
that?
true. But there definitely are people that are more in tune
went to
with
the
the
Ripley's
spirits and
Museum.
just what is around them. Like, I mean, everyone's in tune to things. We all have those certain icky feelings when you
Really?
just sense something. You don't think so? No?
I don't know if I agree.
You're gonna end up like that guy
Heebie-jeebies?
in a coma.
Heebies?
Jeez.
Wow. Well, this took a
Yeah.
turn.
So it doesn't really. So are we gonna just go right into
Yeah, we are.
spoilers?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
spoiling.
I
that.
mean, I
Right.
just spoiled it.
Well, yeah, you find out that the guy's in a coma. He tried to kill himself, presumably for the guilt that he felt about letting this kid in his youth who was like special needs get bullied, and then he ends up dying from the bullying. But that
I think that, in addition to like his relationship
just-
with his parents, too, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like what? So was he actually like exposing psychic people?
Well,
in
see, that's the
real
thing
life?
that you don't know.
I don't
'Cause,
know.
like, what part is like actually was him, and what part is just his mind situation.
Well, you never see him try to kill himself, so you have to
No.
assume that the whole story is
like maybe
is
that's what
true.
Yeah.
made him that way. But
That's
I
a
don't
good
know.
point. That's a
I
very
don't
because
see,
you actually don't ever see him trail himself.
Yeah.
So
Right.
maybe,
No.
yeah,
So the whole time.
probably,
Yeah, I guess so.
yeah. Interesting.
How long
Wow.
has he been?
Wow.
I don't know.
Who knows?
In big
World,
wheels.
man.
So, in addition to the second segment being the best, I also thought that, I guess this is my opinion, I thought the Martin Freeman segment was the weak.
Is that the first?
I thought the first two segments.
Oh, I thought the
And
first one was the
third segment
scariest.
was the weakest.
First one was the scariest.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
That's
that
the
was
one that I
scary.
was like, this is stressing me the fuck
The
out.
one with the Night Watchman.
The
Yeah.
third one was
Yes.
more just to like rope
Tie
it together
it,
and
yeah.
tie it
Yeah.
together. And
Well,
like,
that
that
one
scene
was
with
just-
Mark
that
Ruffalo
one
when
was
he
just
busts out the
bizarre.
shotgun and shoots himself in the hand. You're like, what the fuck is going
Oh,
on?
Cat! That got Cat because Cat was like, "What the fuck? Oh
Yeah,
my
I
god!"
was like,
yeah.
And then the weird stuff
she
in
was
like the
pretty shocked.
nursery, like
Yeah.
those scenes are really well done.
Well, I almost kind of wish, like, I know, like, sometimes when you leave things open for interpretation, it's a little bit scarier, but I wish I had kind of seen, like, what Martin Freeman's baby had looked like.
Well,
Because he talked about, like, how it ripped her in half, and then you see it, like, on the train tracks, like, when he pulls it out of
he's
the
feeding it
crib.
fucking
like,
cat food.
Yeah, right? I kind of want to see
Well,
what that
that
creature
just,
looks
like,
like.
Dude, and
crap
like,
all over the
yeah, it was
blanket,
covered
like,
in
it
like
was-
vomit
yeah.
and shit,
Yeah,
and I was
yeah.
that I
That
was
was-
like, ooh,
yeah.
like that was enough for me to be like, that's not anything I want to fucking
That
see.
hits close as a new parent.
Well, yeah, that was the thing. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude.
I mean, yes, that, and I feel like it also might hit close as, like, any type of parent.
Yeah.
I think that was like more
But-
like an outlook on the professor. Like he's that baby. He's the one just
neglected,
shitting and puking and eating cat food because he's just a fucking garbage human being.
I almost kind of thought that, like, when you see that part,
you gotta
like,
eat the cat food and huff the paint.
Obviously, again, we're in spoilers.
Then you fall
now.
asleep.
But like when you discover that like the old guy is Martin Freeman's character, right? And you're just on that ride, and he like rips down the wall, and you're just like through into madness.
But then you have like, isn't that old guy's name Callahan?
Coleman.
Callahan was the special.
Oh, so it was Coleman. Oh, you know what? At the end, I think it's because I watched it in fucking 2 separate sittings. But I was like, so is he think that like Callahan is that dude? Like, all right.
Yeah. Does that guy even exist? Coleman? Does that guy even
No.
a guy? He's just like
none of them fucking.
Nobody exists. They're just their own people, but he just has this weird.
Yeah.
The mountains are blue.
The mountains have turned blue.
I
They're
was like,
cold.
what is this?
I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
This is what happens though when you have a movie that ends like that. Is that there's a lot left up for interpretation because they kind of take a cop out.
Yeah.
Like that's the only issue I have with it. So it's like, well, what is real and what isn't?
Nothing. None of it.
None of it is. Yeah. Yeah, so it's confusing.
You don't like
so,
that.
So
I think I'm just saying
that is a
cut and dry.
detriment, a little bit to it.
I think it's that cut and dry. None of it's real.
None of it. So was he
Except
even
that
a ghost
story
or
about
like
him as a little kid?
So then why does he turn the mirror?
Because he wanted to give the guy that's laying
a different viewpoint.
A view, like a different view.
But what about the bird?
I don't know.
The bird just turned out.
That's a bad omen.
Well, there's also the bird. The first one's dead on the ground. Then when he comes back.
Yeah, because they say like at the crow hits window. That's like death.
Murder of.
Couple
a
things.
Murder of a murder.
Murder of a
murder.
All right. So obviously, the exposing of the psychic was based on a real. Okay, but
I'm sure
I'll
that's
leave it at that.
happened, yep.
Here's something that I found interesting that I did not pick up on watching the film twice. And let me know if you guys did. So the 9 numbers that are hidden in the tunnel, okay, during that particular part.
Are the numbers on the houses? 29 Shore Drive.
Ooh, you're right. 79 was the first one.
Yep, 79 Shore Drive.
Apparently, they're everywhere.
Oh,
Cat, hold.
Are they the numbers from Lost?
No, they're not the numbers from the Lost. No.
That would have been really funny.
Apparently, every clock and watch that you see in this movie is at 3:45, which, for whatever reason, I don't know.
And 79 Shore
But
Drive.
the 9 numbers hidden in the tunnel at the end of the film appear throughout the entire film, beginning with the numbers on the notice board of the pub when he goes to visit the first guy.
Okay.
Which says the 10th number. That's the name of the pub when he goes to visit that first guy.
Did you pick this stuff up watching it?
No.
It was
You
so,
watched
it
it
was so
twice?
far apart.
No. I watched it right after it came out, and
Oh.
then I watched it again a second time with you last night. So I hadn't seen it in
But
like
you
5
didn't
years.
know any for you.
I had forgotten the ending.
I had forgotten the end too.
I had to, yeah.
Wow. I thought the ending.
It was. I just I remember watching it and I was like, oh, I remember parts of this and I don't know why. I was probably high as fuck.
Yeah, probably.
It was a trippy movie.
It was.
And then you have that guy come back, and that whole scene where that dude's in the background of fucking like almost a whole fucking movie.
Yeah.
There's somebody in the and it's like you can easily just brush it off as being like just something in the background, but it's that dude.
Wait, so
Like the guy in the hood, the
guy in the
little
hood,
boy, yeah.
Which is because then he
what do
was
they call
in
him? Kojak.
Kojak. Yeah, that's what it is.
Which, so I know there was a show called Kolchak the Night Stalker. Kojak. But I feel like they were obviously doing some sort of derogatory term that's British that I don't know about.
Yeah, why is that a bad name?
I looked it up and I couldn't
is it
find
like a dog or something? Is it
I don't know.
Kojak
I have
a
no
dog?
idea. I have
Urban
no
Dictionary?
idea.
Yeah, Urban Dictionary.
That was the most disturbing.
Yeah, that was fucked up when
That
they
was
just
fucked.
when they
Yeah,
sent
that was
that
fucked.
kid in there and it was like,
Yeah, really
I
fucked.
hated that guy. He was
Yeah.
a jerk.
You know what? I feel like the moral of the story is that bullies are just the worst.
Yeah.
People
I mean,
that bully
that's-
people are just the fucking... So, yeah, and they suck. What else can I say? All right, so, lady, gentlemen, if we were to talk about this movie in grand scheme of things, in terms of the other movies that we've covered, in janthologies of years past, better or worse? I know, but Matt, better or worse than Southbound?
I really like Southbound.
Southbound's better
so,
than this.
yeah.
Southbound.
Do you remember?
No.
That whole car accident,
when
hospital
the-
bit was
Oh,
out of
it's like- I
fucking
was like, I
control.
can't with
Yeah.
Southbound is a horse of a
That's
different
one of
color.
the best movies.
That's the,
The
there's a
best
reason.
anthologies.
There's a reason
Like,
that we covered that movie.
That's the top 5 anthologies.
Horse of a
Wait,
different
we
color.
covered
Horse
that?
of a different color. Oh, we sure did. Yeah.
I don't think she. See what I'm saying? I don't think she was on for.
She was absolutely there.
I think I did.
Okay. I'll put it on as soon as we finish, and I guarantee you we hear her.
What was it about?
Kat, it's too much to talk about right now. 'Cause we talked about Nightmare Alley, then Southbound, and she was on both those.
Oh, I don't remember
All right,
that either.
The Twilight Zone, the movie, or
Twilight Zone, the movie.
Oh yeah,
that's
classic.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then those.
Yep.
Oh, Southbound was so good.
You remember it now?
Right
Yeah,
on.
I just had to Google it. Oh, Southbound was so good. Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
Andrew and Matt, XX or Ghost Stories?
I like X.
Cat, XX or Ghost Story?
We already said.
Did we?
We already went
Yeah,
through
we
all
did.
these.
Just
No, this was
technically
one
because
of
it
the
was the same
movies. It
year.
was the same year. Yeah.
Yeah.
And last question, which I know everyone's.
I actually haven't seen that one.
Nightmare Cinema. It's way worse. Nightmare Cinema is one of the worst movies.
You're
I've
missing
ever seen.
one of the
Oh,
other
alright,
ones.
then I
before,
won't
too.
even
Didn't we do
bother
Body Bags?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Body Bags.
I like Body Bags.
Body Bags or Disc Movie. Cat.
Have you seen Body Bags?
Yeah.
It's a weird one.
That's from like the 90s.
Early 90s, yeah.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be like a Showtime.
Is that Peter Jackson?
That was, it was
No,
Carpenter.
you're thinking of
It was Carpenter and
Am I
Hooper.
thinking of Bad Taste?
Dead Alive.
Dead Alive?
Yeah,
What
it
the
was,
fuck
it was
am
Toby
I thinking?
Hooper
It's-
and
I don't think so.
John
You're-
Carpenter.
yeah.
And it was
Who did
supposed to
Bad
be like an
Taste?
answer to like Tales of the Crypt. They never
Oh,
picked it
I'll
up.
go with Body Bags.
Body
Alright, Bad
Bags.
Taste is Peter Jackson. I'm not losing my mind. Okay.
Or-
Is that an anthology?
No. I think I got the names confused because they begin with.
Okay, fair enough. Lady, gentlemen, indifferent. Anything else we have to say about?
Indifference. No, I like.
No?
It's a good movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah, I thought
watch
it
it if
was-
you haven't seen it. It's very underrated, under the radar. Good twist.
I went in with zero.
Cheeky, it's a cheeky movie.
It's cheeky, Brett.
You did say it's a cheeky brat movie.
It is very cheeky. I went in with absolutely zero expectations, good or bad or anything. I just was like, all right, this is what we're watching. This.
Yeah.
No, I liked it. It was good.
Cat, any thoughts?
I liked it.
Cheerio.
Also, definitely watch this movie with subtitles.
I did.
Actually, yeah, we did turn
course
them
I
on.
did.
We did.
Oh,
I know we
by
all
the
do,
way,
but I'm just saying you need to watch this.
If you haven't watched it and you're still listening and you spoiled it for yourself or you skipped ahead, it is on Pluto TV for free.
It is.
You can get that on your smart TV, PlayStation, Xbox, or Fire Stick, whatever. You can do. You do have to watch about 3 minutes of unskippable commercials every 20 minutes.
Oh.
I know that's the
hate
problem though. Is
Like
I've become
it filled it to be like
so-
a 2-hour block.
I've become so
That was why I
accustomed
was
to
like, I
not
gotta-
having that. I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
Like I'll pay the $2.99.
After the
for-
second one, I was like, I should have just rented it.
that $3 would have been well worth it.
But I was just like, oh, like if it's right there, like fuck it.
The funniest thing was we went to quote unquote Christmas at my parents' house last Saturday, which was on New Year's of sickness and COVID and blah. But anyway, my dad cornered me. It was like he was like, one of the streaming services, I forget exactly what, that we share password. Like, hey, why the fuck are fucking XYZ? And I was like,
What?
really? I was like, Dad, you gonna bust my balls with this? He's like, what are you fucking moron? You can't listen to shit. I was like, Jesus Christ. I was like, it's so much better. He's like, bomb.
The way you set that up, that he
You
cornered
miss
you.
so many things
Right?
without having
Wait,
closed
so how
captions
does
on.
he?
I've never felt so I've never been so disappointed in as a son in my entire life until that moment.
Do the closed captions, if they're on one account, they should?
If he's using the
If
same,
they're sharing the same like logins,
It
yeah,
just automatically shows up.
I think
because
I was
it's
thinking,
the
like,
same
Netflix.
settings like every
For
time.
what though?
So if he uses like Shutter or Amazon
It's
Prime,
automatically
like, oh
has
yeah.
that on
'Cause
because
I-
that's your setting.
Oh, because
And I can just picture my dad at home being like, "What the fuck are you fucking?"
See, I used to say the same thing, but to my dad because he would always have closed captions. I'm like, you
Who's
deaf
the
bastard.
deaf bitch?
I'm like, you can't see this. And then now, the more I've watched, I'm like, I know most people are doing it because hear what they're saying, but there's all it just. Picks up a lot more, and it's you
get more out of
learn more reading and listening. Your brain is capable of doing both.
Multitasking.
Yeah, you're firing off.
And the words at the bottom of the screen almost become like it used to be like when I would watch a foreign film and it was like hidden dragon fucking penis, whatever it is. Crouching tiger,
dragon
hidden penis. Crouching tiger, hidden penis.
You almost made me say it.
I love it.
When I first watched that movie, I was like, I can't read things. Like you feel like you're just staring at the bottom the whole time and you're not watching the movie. But as your
You get
brain
used to
develops,
it.
you get
Yeah.
used to it, and you're able to. The more foreign films you watch too.
I do it just so I don't have to, because so many movies now you have to turn the volume up super high,
and then it's just
there's a scene change and you get this massive like music coming in and it's super fucking loud. I'm like, dude, I can't be
Can you guys do
doing
me a
this
favor?
shit.
Can you explain to Kat that sometimes when you're watching moving service, commercials come on, the
They're
volume's
loud as hell.
louder.
The
the
volume is
Dude,
always
that's
louder
just
'cause they
marketing.
want-
She's just like, oh my god, can you turn this movie down? Call the fire department.
This is why I always pay for I pay the extra to not have commercials.
Well, the ads are going to be louder because they're supposed to wake you up while
Yeah.
you're asleep. And then you're asleep and you're like, fuck, I need to get in the sheets.
Good, so you're laughing, so you acknowledge that this is a true
I
thing.
do that. Yes, I did. That's not.
I need to
that's
go
not
buy my
incorrect.
pillow.
Mike is in my.
I want to get one of those. I want to get a cute pillow.
From 5 years
Dude, I have a
ago.
Tempur-Pedic. I have 2 Tempur-Pedics.
Dude, my mattress combination sucks ass right now.
This is
I wake
great
up every
pillow
day,
talk.
unfortunately.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I
mattress
just-
talk.
Yeah, you can't be doing pillow talk.
No pillow talk on the horror podcast.
Yeah, we get off the rails.
All right. Fair enough.
But it is on Pluto TV for free, or you can rent it and you don't have to watch fucking
That's correct.
ads.
Yeah, you
Just-
can rent
just-
it
and
whenever.
it's only
you
like,
want.
what
yourself
is
a
it,
favor and
Pluto
just
TV?
rent it.
$4.
It's
Yeah.
$2.99.
Oh, is it even
Yeah,
better?
I rented
Yeah.
it for $3 on
Yeah,
YouTube
$3.
TV.
Okay.
Because I was too lazy to download and install Pluto TV like an asshole. Typical stupid American. Anywho, lady, gentlemen, anything further on Go Be Done?
I think that's all.
For sure,
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm reaching deep and there's nothing.
Oh yeah. What do you find when you reach
A couple of
A
plums.
sense of despair and
deep in my
disappointment.
Fair enough. All right, folks. Well, hey,
Happy
thanks
Janthology.
for happy Janthology, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of the show. But if you're looking to find our show, you can find it at the exact same place you're listening right now, or next week. If you find it on Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spreaker, and wherever else you may get your podcasts. My name has been Mike. I have been joined by Matt and Andrew.
been Mike.
And
My name has been Andrew.
And at certain points, the undisputed
My name has been
champion,
Kat.
1/3 cat.
the blonde, the undisputed champion of crazy things, Gato. What's up? Thank you for joining.
You're welcome.
Say
No one's gonna
goodbye
eat this cookie.
Goodbye.
to your audience.
Eat the cookie.
Good evening.
Goodbye.
Can somebody
Goodbye.
yell? Can somebody do something obnoxious before I sign off?
Bye.
Good evening! Hey everyone, it's Mike from America's Hometown Horror, and just wanted to say thank you again for listening to another episode of our show, because of course, we would be nothing without you listeners. If you are interested in more local Plymouth podcasts, I would highly recommend you check out some shows by our cohorts on the Inebriart Podcast Network. That's right, the Inebriart Podcast Network, folks. In addition to America's Hometown Horror, you can find the Inebriart Podcast, Bar Talk, Theme Park Legends, Retro Redoctopus, and Old Colony Cast. Head on over and give them a listen.